think is the most sustainable way to eat. That we kind of have to be more mindful of particular populations that have this, I think, a legitimate concern about how a history of colonialism and racism can actually kind of be indirectly part of someone's consciousness, such as PETA, when they go out and do these things. And ask yourself, how productive is it if my immediate response to a vulnerable population is, where all animals get over it, versus, oh, that's interesting. I never really thought about my race privilege, or my class privilege, or my gender privilege, or whatever privileges you happen to have. It's something that I think we need to kind of put more into if we're going to talk about what is, what does the future of food and sustainability look like. So this is basically what I wanted to offer the audience today. I think I'm probably getting toward the end, but I want to kind of leave it open for questions. And I just want to let people know that my dissertation work is much more theoretical, and I was going to actually read a chapter today, and I decided I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to kind of do more narrative and kind of give you a more broad view of the work I'm doing with the Sistah vegan anthology, but also my work as a PhD student, and kind of making these questions less theoretical and kind of producing questions that we can kind of take with us. And you don't have to be a vegan. I mean, just like what I presented to you in terms of how race and class and gender affect our consciousness and how we produce ethics in food. You kind of bring that into what you're doing if you are a food activist or a food scholar. So with that, I would like to kind of open up the floor to questions and comments. Thank you.
Microphones, or students who are grabbing microphones back there. So, any questions? Question way down here in the front, Sarah. Students running downstairs.
Thank you very much. I guess I can infer that when you went to veganism, the fibroids, did they disappear?
Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. Okay, so I went to a gynecologist, I think, twice a year to be monitored, and he definitely verified that. I think within the first year and a half, I had shrunken by 75%. And then a year and a half ago, or whenever I was pregnant with my daughter, I was 2 months pregnant with her, and I went in for a sonogram, and I let the technician know that, oh, by the way, I think I have 1 or 2 small fibroids left. She couldn't find them. So I guess that particular diet did work for me, and I don't want to actually imply that only diet is what will help you with the reproductive elements, because I know environmental toxins also play a lot into reproductive harmony. But to answer your question, for me, I guess it did work, and I continue to adhere to that diet.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
I am the stereotype, as in I'm the white, middle-class, female vegan. And I think that people who haven't investigated veganism definitely do, especially in a school like this where everyone wants to be devil's advocate. They do judge me as just jumping on a bandwagon without a cause because I am the stereotype. How do I combat that label that I'm being given?
So I'm wondering what do people say to you?
People don't believe that I actually have reasons to be a vegan, or that I haven't actually thought about the choice I made 10 years ago.
I don't know if I have a good answer, but I can try. Well, like with people, I guess it's the same what I do. So, if I tell black people I don't eat chicken, they're like, I don't understand. Like, why are you doing that? Are you trying to be white? So, what I do is I am a scholar. I bust out all the literature that kind of shows, like, it's not some random thing I'm doing. There's a history behind it. There's like a decolonial rationale behind it, and I explain it with, depending what my demographic is or I'm talking to, I explain it within that particular cultural context. And I get a lot more positive response. So I don't know who's saying this to you, but I mean, if you have the scholarship in the books and whatever, you can start talking to that particular demographic who says, you're just doing it because you're superficial. You can start busting out the data and the literature on supports why you do what you do. I think it's pretty simple, and you have to remember, a lot of times people don't want to think critically, they just kind of want to be annoying anyway, so you can give them, you can be an emeritus professor who's written, concrete reasons why you do it, and there are people who just don't want to read it, so you can kind of just plant the seed if they want to grow and kind of be open to new ideas, then that's cool, but I learned a while ago, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop kind of trying to convince smart people why I don't eat chicken. And just kind of be like, here's the literature, there are Black communities that do this is why, this is the history. So, thank you, that helps, yeah.
Hi, I heard you mention your daughter, and I was wondering how you envision relating the veganism to younger age groups, because I know I heard somewhere that raising children vegan isn't necessarily healthy, but that also goes back to cultural constructions and how we want to sway people into believing things. And so I was wondering how you personally have shared that with your daughter, raising her vegan, or how we can teach younger generations these same things.
Well, I mean, remember, this is just my individual choice, and I think, I'm a situational vegan, so I'm a vegan because of the reasons about fibroid tumors, but I also, once I was introduced to clean food, to start getting to think more critically about where my food comes in from generals, and then I started thinking about animal compassion. My daughter's not vegan because she's solely breastfed, so she's, drinking mammal's milk, my milk. But I have a 2.5-year-old son, and he's actually not vegan. That's because my partner, I have a partner he's not vegan or vegetarian. And we're both parents, and I have to make compromises. Once or twice a month, my husband wants to make sure he gets salmon. I don't know where that's from. I don't know why salmon. Why not cow? Why not a pig? Why salmon? I know why salmon. There's literature on that tells us how healthy salmon is. But you're right, it's cultural. And I know a lot of people who want to raise their kids not necessarily vegan but vegetarian. There are cultures, cultures in India where kids are raised vegetarian. It's fine. So I know the best way that I can answer for you is that a lot of societies, like Vegan Society and Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and there's a few other organizations out there, they're doing real nutritional science research into if you want to raise your kids vegan or vegetarian, this is how you do it. So in the last 5 years, I've actually seen really good books written. If you want to make sure if your kid is vegan or vegetarian, you're getting the right things, here it is. So I advise if you're actually interested in that, to kind of look at that data, and that scholarship. I know not everybody has access to health insurance and to go to naturopaths, but there are naturopaths that you can go to, and the vegan or vegetarian dietitians to help you with putting together something for your children. But it's hard. It's hard to kind of say what is right or wrong. But I can only offer that if you want just the basic nutritional advice, there are books that have been written in the past 5 years that kind of focus on raising kids vegan and vegetarian.
I was wondering whether there's been an opportunity to do some comparison with some of the history of, let's say, in the Mediterranean, in Europe in the last 3,000 years, and the mixture of North Africa, the eastern part of that part of the world, as well as obviously Europe, and not only the race and the cultures that existed at that time, but the food that was eaten at that time, and whether there's been an opportunity for you to make some type of comparison with any of that.
No, I have not been able to do that yet. Right now, I'm just kind of limited, because I'm a geographer, I have to choose my region, so I'm really just focusing on America right now. But I think that would be interesting for future postdoctoral work to kind of do a comparison. So I think that's a really good thing to consider doing, and I can let people know on my blog if I end up doing that in the future. But that's good. I think it would be interesting to compare. Also, what does the Afro-Canadian population look like, or the Afro-German population look like in terms of what they're doing with their food and where they live, and are there health disparity problems, and are there vegans and raw foodists and stuff. So, thank you.
I got time for one more.
Hi. So I was wondering how, as or I was basically wondering how geography plays a distinct effect, or plays a distinct role in our, in the way that we have access to like veganism or these essential diets separate from race, because it seems, at least in America, that the way that our, basically the way that classes dictate geography, that geography does have, or that race plays a large role in geography. So I was wondering if there's a distinct effect between the two.
I don't think there's a clear-cut line, actually. The way I approach my scholarship is intersectional, so I don't think there is a clear-cut line that, geography is distinct from class, distinct from race. So if you're asking the question, how does geography play into people's access to vegan foods? Geography is a broad category, but if we're looking at where people live and what areas people have access to live in, if you look at scholarship on geography and I guess environmental health, you'll see that it's usually white middle class that have had a history of having access of living in the healthiest neighborhoods and having access to having jobs that pay more, having access to getting mortgages and loans to live in those particular communities. So if you look at that, you can see how it affects what choices you have, where to live, and how to get access to those particular healthy foods. So for instance, a lot of people in the mainstream vegan say, vegan movement, going vegan is easy, it's easy. If you look at Skinny Bitch, they tell you how easy it is to go to Whole Foods and get what you need. And that just says a lot. Right there, that's a geographical, socioeconomic, racial privilege to actually be able to go to a Whole Foods and become a vegan and get those holistic foods that you need. So the way it's connected is, if you look at how, there's racism in the loan industry when people wanted to get homes, how even if you look at when particular communities of color are, they're trying to hold on to their communities in an urban area and then it's being gentrified, look who's coming in. The white middle class hipsters coming in, and while it's cheap, we can buy up the land, we can buy up the property, and suddenly it's too expensive for low-income people of color to live in. And then with that gentrification, with those bodies, white middle class bodies moving in, then you see other things like, oh wow, now there's a farmer's market there. Oh, now Whole Foods is coming. But now the low-income community of color that used to live there can't live there anymore, so now they're going. So that's kind of how geography plays in, and to some degree, kind of geographies of race and racism, and how, when I get irritated when people say, going vegan is easy, just, go to your farmer's market or Whole Foods, but, that's saying a lot. Who is it easy for? What privileged demographic is it easy for? So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You can email me, breezeharper@gmail.com if you have questions and comments. And I'm also in the job market, so if you know of any postdoctoral positions or assistant professorships that I should apply to, please let me know, because I'm kind of open to anybody in the country right now. Okay? Thank you.
I got my iPhone, my nephew was just about 2, and he took it from me and he just started going through these little bitty thumbs.
Yeah, my had a thought doing one of the plays in which I actually didn't have a lot of lines, just like telling. But anyway, so whenever we did like work on that kind of stuff, I was like with my daughter, and by the time she was like, I don't know, you could hold the iPhone. She had games for her.
That's how my daughter is right now. She's 6.5 months old, and she sees me when she moves. It's supposed to be so amazing. Wow, yeah. So amazing.